Tanse, Tawao, hello, and welcome to my channel. This is Shelly Rose May, Art by the Métis Mama, and I just wanted to share my children's book today. So for those of you who don't know, I am a published author, and I thought it'd be fun to come on and talk a little bit about my book, which I have not done, I don't think, since it's been published. The reason being is because I honestly have not been happy with, I wasn't happy with how it came out. In hindsight, I wish I would have been a little bit more strong in myself and what I wanted, but because of time and money that were not coming out of my pocket, I feel like I kind of slacked on what I really wanted. Now, saying that, a lot of what came out from this project did come out in a way that I feel like was really good, but yeah, there was a few things which I'll talk about through the video that I feel like could have been better. So but here's the book, and I'll read it first, and then I also have like illustrations that I wanted to share and like how it got to this point, so you can kind of see that process. So I want to try to make this video under an hour, so let's get started. So my book is called The Little Spirit Doll, and for those of you who know me, I do make spirit doll kits, and spirit dolls are a big part of my medicine. So this one's The Little Spirit Doll, Trust the Journey by Shelly Rose May. My publisher is Coloring It Forward, and her name is the owner of Coloring It Forward. The former owner is Diana Frost. She recently sold her business, but this character was developed from my spirit dolls, and then Grandmother Owl came to me a lot in my healing journey, and so I had to include Grandmother Owl in the story. So this story is a mix of fictional and some of my own life, and what I'd like to think is my mom's life, which is who I dedicated this book to. Well, you'll see later, but I wanted to put a little something in here about my mom and my cookum. So the first thing, I actually had asked my elder to write a little thing for me, but she's so busy and wasn't available, so I just put a simple quote by my elder, and it's the first quote here, message from the author, and it says, and I'll just zoom in on my mom's and cookum's picture so you can see while I'm reading this. It says, "There is nothing wrong with you. You have trauma," said Cree Métis Elder Carrie Moore. "I think of this whenever I feel like giving up on my healing journey. Thank you, Elder Carrie, for speaking those powerful words to me. In my younger days, I often asked myself, what is wrong with me? I knew I had healing to do, but I did not recognize it as trauma." In the story, we see the little spirit doll pulled out of her home without ceremony. The sad result is that during her journey, she wants to constantly fight, flight, or flee. It is through her relationships with other spirit dolls who are also traumatized that they all find some healing. As the granddaughter of a residential school survivor, our family has much healing to do still. My husband and I are dedicated kinship parents to two family members' children whose mothers and grandmother attended residential school. I am following in the footsteps of my mother who helped her brother raise her children after their mother was murdered. Healing is not easy work, but it is necessary if you want to live a good life. Making spirit dolls has helped me in my personal healing journey, and I would not trade it for anything. It has empowered me and helped me look within for answers. Making spirit dolls has helped me to let go of limiting beliefs and programming. Through my art, I have never felt more connected to the Great Spirit. I have transformed in many ways, and I have learned so much about the truth of who I am. I have realized that we are more similar than we are different, and I am grateful to Grandmother Owl. When I had stage 4 cervical cancer, Grandmother Owl taught me how to go within to the darkness to bring the pain to the light for deep healing and change. I decided to include her in this story, even though I know that for some people, owls can bring much fear and misunderstanding. To me, the owl represents diving deep within the darkness of the soul to bring the pain to the light for deep healing and transformation. It is only then that we can shift our life to another level and soar like an eagle. Shelley Rosemary. This book is dedicated to the memory of two beautiful matriarchs who impacted my life in more ways than one. My mother, Fanny Flossie Settee Robertson, and my cookum, Georgina Rosie Settee Ballantyne, grandmother. Cookum means grandmother in Cree. In their lives, they both struggled with the effects of trauma and were survivors who displayed much courage and strength that I can only dream of having. I love you both. And I'm not going to read this part. This is just like a creation story. The elder that was part of overseeing this project was Elder John Sinclair, who is a Cree elder from, I think he lives in Trochu. And he's helped Diana with many of her projects. I have a little thank you. I owe so much gratitude to my beautiful friend Diana Frost for believing in me and this book, to my amazing husband Mark for absolutely everything. You're so much like my dad, and that is a good thing. And thank you to my wonderful boys, Jackson, Messiah, and Sage, for all the bedtime stories that inspired me to write this book in the first place. Lastly, thank you to my sister for always being there to support my family and I. Okay, and so, yeah. So here we go. Let's get started. Make sure I'm in frame here. And I am proud of my illustrations of Two-Legged. I think I could have done a little bit better job on the spirit doll, but I really love how Two-Legged turned out. So Two-Legged is the artist in this book, so let's get started. It is a beautiful day, and Two-Legged, a human, rushes to the riverbank to gather clay. Two-Legged makes spirit dolls out of clay. They remind us to live life in a good way. She has a good idea for a new spirit doll, and she wants to make it quickly before she forgets. She grabs the clay from the riverbank and heads back to her workshop. Oh no, Two-Legged has forgotten one important step. She forgot to give tobacco to Mother Earth for the clay. She gets back to her art workshop and puts the clay on the work table. She kneads the clay like a little bannock. Soon a round face is formed with eyes, a nose, and a little mouth. She places it on a cookie sheet and puts it in the oven to bake. The day is almost over, and before long, a little doll is formed. Two-Legged ties it onto a piece of driftwood and sets it down on the table. It's been a long day. I will finish you tomorrow, she says as she walks away. It is not long before a sound is heard coming from the little spirit doll. Achoo! The little spirit doll hardly opens her eyes. Where am I? She asks, feeling scared and confused. Hello there, brave one, says a familiar voice. The little spirit doll looks up to see Grandmother Moon, slowly rising in the evening sky. Grandmother, I want to go home. Grandmother Owl and Grandmother Moon often told the clay children bedtime stories. Sorry, that transition was a little bit off. Anyways, Grandmother Owl and Grandmother Moon often told the clay children bedtime stories. You are okay, brave one. You have a new life now, says Grandmother Moon in a reassuring voice. The little doll did not ask to leave her home in the clay bed by the river. Now she is angry, sad, and scared. I want to go home, she demands as tears fall down the doll's freshly baked cheeks. I'm not the best reader, by the way, so bear with me. Grandmother Moon is wise and knows the little doll cannot return home, so she tries to comfort her. Two-legged, excuse me, two-legged made you into a spirit doll, brave one, but Creator gave you the gift of life. You must embrace it. Suddenly, an owl's hoot startles the little spirit doll, and she sees an owl flying into the trees. "It's Grandmother Owl!" shouts the little doll excitedly and races towards the forest. Grandmother Owl must be going to put me to bed like she does every night. I must follow her. She knows where I live, says the little spirit doll frantically to Grandmother Moon. Bye, she adds as she hops away. Wait, brave one. There is something you need to know about Grandmother Owl, says the wise old elder, but she does not hear her. After a while, the little spirit doll realizes it is dark and she cannot see a thing. She quickly finds a hollow tree and jumps inside to wait until morning. As the little spirit doll pushes herself inside the tree, she realizes something is in the way. Hello? Says a strange, crackly voice from the dark. Ah! Screams the little doll, startled. She tries to jump back outside the tree, but she is stuck. We're stuck, confirms a strange voice in the tree. Wiggle, the little spirit doll says, and they both wiggle and wiggle and wiggle until finally they both tumble out of the tree laughing. That was so much fun. I have been in that tree a very long time, says the voice. Grandmother Owl's light shines down through the trees. To the little doll's surprise, it is another spirit doll. You are a spirit doll, she asks. Yes, I am, answers a strange crackly voice. Why were you in the tree for so long? Asked the little spirit doll. A long time ago, I went for a walk in the forest and I got lost. I was too scared to get lost again, so I just stayed in here, says the fearful little doll. Thank you for helping me face my fear of leaving the tree. My name is Bearheart. What's your name? You are welcome. My name is... I do not know what my name is, said the little spirit doll sadly. I have to get home, but it's getting dark. Can I share your tree with you for the night? Asked the little spirit doll. Sure, says Bearheart, sorry. And the two dolls snuggle in nicely for the night. The next morning, the little spirit doll asked Bearheart where she can find Grandmother Owl. Bearheart courageously steps out of the tree to answer, and he realizes he is no longer afraid and smiles to himself. Suddenly, an owl feather gently floats down from the sky right in the little spirit doll's hands. Grandmother Owl, says the little spirit doll excitedly. She must be close by, Bearheart. I must go. Bye, and thank you. Wait, yells Bearheart after her. There is something you need to know about Grandmother Owl. But the little spirit doll cannot hear Bearheart. The little spirit doll comes to a field where she notices a doll standing on the other side. Hello there, she hollers as she bounces off towards a strange new doll. When she gets there, she notices that the little doll looks quite upset. Are you okay? Asked the little spirit doll. You are in my field. Get out, the little doll says angrily. The little spirit doll has an idea. She grabs her owl feather and begins to tickle the angry doll's nose. Stop it, says the angry doll, trying not to smile or laugh. But the little spirit doll does not stop. Stop it, she repeats. But again, the little spirit doll will not stop. Soon the angry doll is laughing and says, I am sorry for being angry with you. Why are you so angry? Asked the little spirit doll. I was flying my kite in this field and the wind took it away. I have been very upset with the wind ever since, explains the little doll. But thank you for helping me not be so angry. I forgot how good it feels to smile. My name is Buffalo Boy. What is your name? You're welcome, says the little spirit doll. I don't know my name, but can you help me? Yes, I would be happy to help you too. Thank you for making me laugh again, says Buffalo Boy. Where can I find Grandmother Owl? Asked the little spirit doll. Buffalo's face becomes sad. He points towards an old barn off in the distance. That's where she used to live. Oh, thank you. I must speak with Grandmother Owl. I have to go. Bye, yells the little spirit doll as she races off towards the barn. Wait, there's something you need to know about Grandmother Owl, yells Buffalo Boy, but the little spirit doll is already gone. When the little spirit doll arrives at the barn, she quickly hops inside and jumps right on a wooden plank. The little spirit doll doesn't notice until it is too late that there was a sad little deer spirit doll sitting on the plank and that she was crying. Whee! Shouts the little deer spirit doll. The sad little doll goes catapulting through the air right out the barn window. Oh no! Shouts the little spirit doll. What did I just do? The little spirit doll runs up to the doll. Are you okay? She asks. Oh, yes, that was so much fun. I was so sad, but you made my day, smiles the little deer spirit doll. I forgot how it felt to have fun. Why were you so sad? Asked the little spirit doll. I was playing with my person in the hay, and they forgot me, she explains. Having fun has made me realize that life is full of adventure and I should not be sad anymore. Thank you. My name is Little Deer. What's your name? I don't know my name, but can you help me? I'm looking for Grandmother Owl. Have you seen her? Asked the little spirit doll. I'm sorry to tell you that she is... But before Little Deer could finish replying, a loud hoo, hoo is heard from a tree in the distance. Grandmother Owl, shouts the little spirit doll as she rushes off towards the sound. Wait, yells Little Deer. There is something I need to tell you about Grandmother Owl. But the little spirit doll is already gone. When the little spirit doll gets to the tree, there, placed nicely against it, is a deer hide rattle. The little spirit doll is disappointed and feels like giving up. She picks up the rattle, sits down, and closes her eyes. She does not know what to do, but she begins to shake the rattle. She cries and as she cries, she sings her prayers to the Great Spirit. With all her heart, she wishes to go home, to have a name, to find Grandmother Owl. Soon she starts to feel better. When she opens her eyes, she's surprised. Something magical has just happened. The riverbank lies directly ahead. I am home, yells the little spirit doll excitedly. She quickly hops down the riverbank that was once her home and tries to jump back into the clay, but it doesn't work. There is a problem. And these are all the little clay spirits in the riverbank. And those are actually my then 4-year-old. Those are his little fingerprints that we dipped in orange paint and we put on there. I made little faces on them. So anyways, I'll talk more about that after. Sorry. The little spirit doll cannot return to her family in the soft clay bed because she has been baked. As tears fill the little doll's eyes, a familiar voice says, "Brave child, you are going to be okay." She looks up. It's Grandfather's son. "Oh, Grandfather, I don't know what to do," she says. I have no home. I do not have a name, and I cannot find Grandmother Owl. What can I do? Brave one, you were made for a reason. You must now find your purpose. Do not be afraid, answers the wise old elder. Suddenly, a familiar hoot can be heard from the distance. It's Grandmother Owl, shouts the little spirit doll as she races off. Wait, brave one, there's something I need you to tell you about Grandmother Owl, Grandfather Sun calls out to her, but the little doll is gone. The little doll follows the hooting sound of Grandmother Owl until she finally arrived back at Two-Legged's workshop, where her journey began. She doesn't know where Grandmother Owl is, but she hears someone coming, so she quickly jumps back on the table and lies down. Two-Legged walks up to the table and picks up the little doll. What have we here? She asks. Two-Legged is surprised to see her little doll creation holding an owl feather and a rattle. She knows something magical has just happened and smiles. I wondered where you had run off to. Let's get you cleansed. Two-Legged picks up some sage and her abalone shell. She rolls the sage into a little ball in her hands and places it into the shell. She strikes a match, lights the sage, and gently waves her hand over it to get air flowing into the sage so that it will burn. As the sage begins to smoke, Two-Legged picks up her new creation. The little spirit doll is scared and is not sure what is happening. Two-Legged rotates the little doll through the spirit of the plant, which is the sacred smoke. She turns the doll through the smoke 4 times in clockwise circles. Little by little, the little spirit doll begins to feel a calmness enter her heart and mind. Two-Legged begins to pray. Great Spirit, please cleanse and purify this little one and fill her with the wisdom of Grandmother Owl. As Two-Legged continues to pray, the little doll begins to feel happy. For the first time since leaving her clay bed home, she feels safe, she feels at peace, and she feels loved. Two-Legged finishes her prayer and holds the little spirit doll close and says, "From this moment on, you shall be named Calling Owl, and you'll always have a home with me. Hi, hi." Calling Owl peeks out of the corner of her eyes and looks up at the twinkling stars above. She can see the stars in the shape of an owl, high in the sky. In that moment, Calling Owl realizes that Grandmother Owl is at home in the spirit world and that she has been guiding her the whole time. The end. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this book. So the first thing about this book, it became way more wordy than I wanted it to. It was a lot more simplistic, and it was meant for ages like 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. And it ended up becoming more of a junior reader. So that was really disappointing to me. I was told that my characters needed more background. And if I wish I would have stuck more to my guns and been like, actually, no. Have you ever read a children's storybook? A lot of them, you don't even know what the background characters are. Like, this isn't a novel. This is for kids. So I end up having to develop more. And it became, like I said, way more wordy. So that is the number one thing that I feel like is wrong with this. I wish I could do like a younger children's version of this. And I have been kind of trying to do that. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe I should just leave it as is and just start a new book. And I think I might do that because I gotta just get over it. You know, not everybody's first books or projects are going to be perfect, and we learn as we go, and I should just accept it the way it is. But I was happy to know that it did sell out when it first got released. Diana did sell out, so that was really nice. But yes, again, I do wish it wasn't so wordy, because I did want it for younger children. It's kind of long to read. The other thing is, you'll notice that it goes from black and white to color. So what I'm trying to emphasize there is the healing journey. And notice how Grandmother Owl is already she's already colored in because she's an elder. Not that all elders are perfect and healed, but as sort of like a higher spiritual figure, I guess, I wanted to make sure that they embodied that wisdom and that they had color. So yeah, as she goes on, you'll notice even the other spirit dolls begin to heal through the interaction. Just like people, when we interact with each other, if we look at people through the lens of the Holy Spirit or the Great Spirit and actually see that people are merely mirroring us, it can really change how we look at people in our life. And it takes away the judgment, because we realize that it's a consciousness level that we're at. Like attracts like, frequency attracts frequency, right? So yeah, so these were my 4-year-old's prints, and I used orange in honor of the orange shirt movement, which has become huge in Canada. September 21st is Orange Shirt Day, and also National Truth and Reconciliation Day. And so that's where I got that idea for that. And it was nice having a piece of my family in here too, because my then 4-year-old, who's now 8, his Cookham did go to residential school, and his great grandmother and his great grandmother also went to residential school. So we have a lot of trauma in my family, which is why I'm a kinship mother. Currently, the Canadian government is trying to erase the truth about residential schools from our history, which is not cool, because it did happen. If it didn't happen, our communities wouldn't have so much trauma. There wouldn't be so many issues in our communities. We have a lot of healing yet to do, but we're getting there slowly. And then the thing with Owl is, when I had stage 4 cervical cancer, Grandmother Owl came to me a lot, and she did help me. So I wanted to honor her. In our teachings, there's a lot of fear mongering around Grandmother Owl because people don't understand her medicine. The owl is like the eagle, but she governs the night. The eagle is seen as a spirit that takes our prayers up to Creator, whereas the owl helps us dive deep into the darkness, our shadows, and helps pull those out for healing. So I want to change that fear around her, because she's such a powerful medicine to carry, and I absolutely love owls, and yeah, I had to include her. So let's talk a little bit about the illustration part of this. So here is the final copy that I had submitted with all my artwork on it to Diana when I submitted the actual scanned artwork. So this is all watercolor, pen and ink, like archival ink pen, and a little bit of pencil crayon, but it's mostly watercolor. So these were all the final illustrations that I chose for the book. So as you can see, they're the same as everything in the book, but with no words. Her graphic designer did all of the inserting of the words. And then here's the thumbnail pictures with my book there, which I didn't realize I had a book in here, so that's good to know. And then here's some of the editing that I had done when she would send me the draft. I would go through the draft and I'd do some of my editing before it was finally submitted. And yes, these are some of the illustrations that didn't make the cut. So let's go through some of the illustrations that didn't make the cut. And I'm going to just zoom out a little bit more here, sorry. So yeah, that's the little binder. Okay, so when I first started trying to practice my illustrations, these are some of the ones that I worked on. Because I was trying to get a feel for how I wanted my illustrations to look. Now, I knew I wanted really simplistic, clean, crisp illustrations. So when I started doing these, I'm like, I was getting the feel of it, but it still wasn't what I wanted. Here's some more practice of two-legged. Here's me practicing drawing the little spirit doll. And I thought I would have a square book, so I was kind of mapping out like how I wanted the book, but then later I decided I wanted it more this size, which is more of a rectangular shape. It's nice and easy to hold. And I've read a lot of kids' books to my boys over the years, and I always kind of like this sort of size, so that's how I ended up going with that one. And the pages in here are really nice, high quality pages. It's stapled together, but the staples seem to pop out easy. Like this one's just missing a staple. But again, I didn't want it to be this thick. It should have been a lot more simplistic. So if we had gone the way I wanted it and been a little bit more simplistic, then I would have been able to, the staples wouldn't have given us as much trouble, I don't think. But oh, also my bio is on the back here with a little bit of information on coloring it forward. I'll just read that to you quickly. Shelley Rose May is a self-taught mixed media artist of Cree and Scottish descent. Shelley Rose May was born in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan and grew up in the small village of Christopher Lake. She lived in Calgary, Alberta for 30 years, but now calls Rocky Mountain House her home. Shelley is a band member of Montreal Lake Cree Nation in central northern Saskatchewan, with roots in Fish Lake Métis settlement. Formerly a support worker at Hull Services, she resigned her job to be a stay-at-home mother to her children. To keep her boys entertained, she began experimenting with arts and crafts and fell in love with mixed media. Shelley and her husband Mark collaborate on art pieces, including paintings, spirit dolls, and other creations. Coloring It Forward has published their artwork in Christmas card box sets, Indigenous art and wisdom journals, and Indigenous art calendars. And then Coloring It Forward is a project designed to create conversation, develop understanding, and foster reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. Coloring It Forward publishes coloring books, elder books, calendars, art and wisdom journals, and other products. They donate a portion of all the product sales to programs that serve the Indigenous community. So here we go, more illustrations that, as you can see, this is really rough. I was still kind of getting the feel of how I wanted things to look. This isn't really a great illustration. There's just a face I drew. This is me trying to practice drawing Buffalo Boy. Here's another one. I really loved like how this looked, but it still needed some refining, and I wasn't really sure if, I felt like it was maybe too much. There's too much going on in the background. I wanted like more simplistic. And my inspiration, if you ever read those books, now I can't even remember what they're called. I wish I had. There's a copy of one of those books, but there's a children's book that I used to read to my kids when they're little, and it's like Piggy, and he's with like an elephant, and the illustrations are so simplistic, and it was just focused on the story, and I love that. And that's where I kind of got that inspiration from. If you guys know what book I'm talking about, leave it in the comments. Here's me, again, practicing one of my spirit dolls, which obviously didn't make the cut. Very rough drawing. So you could see I was new to illustrating, and I didn't really know what I wanted in terms of like how the character was going to develop. Here's another one. Now this one I don't mind, but again, it's still, I felt like it was too much of a background. I wanted more simplicity. Again, another practice one, too busy for me, needed it to be more simplistic. There's another one. I didn't like the face on her. It looked too mature. I wanted the character to be more innocent looking. Here's another one. I really love that eagle. And she's starting to develop more into the character that I ended up choosing, right? So you can see two-legged here. Very close. Another buffalo boy. Another one. There's another one. This one I didn't mind. Buffalo Boy was starting to come along, but I still wasn't happy with his character looking. He looked kind of funny there. There's more how two-legged ends up becoming. Here's her punching the dough with a face in it. Another one of Buffalo Boy, bear heart, another bear heart. Very rough illustration, not good at all, but you know, you get the idea. Here's me like just kind of going through. Now I should have just done a sketch pad. I don't know why I did it like this, but I think I was thinking that if I got a good character and it was already on one of these nice papers, then I wouldn't have to transfer it onto another one again, that it would already be on the paper. I think that's where my mind was heading. Seems like something I would think. I didn't love her face there, so that one didn't go. Same with this one. I wasn't in love with her side profile. Here she was way too big for two-legged, so that one didn't make the cut. Some more illustration, like starting points that I screwed up on. Another one I didn't love. Here's another practice one that I wasn't in love with. I love this one. I thought that one was really cute, but this one was not good. There's Dear Girl, or Little Dear, I mean. And I didn't like the face on her, on the little spirit doll there. I didn't mind this one. It was starting to come together at this point. Same with this one. It was starting to develop. Still was not 100% happy with her, but it was getting there. Again, here's one that I colored thinking, okay, I'll just color it in. But I didn't like the color. I liked the black and white. I really did love this one a lot, but it just felt like it didn't really look like a buffalo to me because the horns were too big. I think if they were smaller, it would have worked out. But I also didn't like the busyness of the background. Another one with a busy background. Another one here. So you can kind of see I really worked hard on these illustrations. Now that I'm sharing these illustrations with you guys, I can finally like get rid of some of them. I will keep probably some of them just to look back on so I can see that process of, you know, of what I went through to get to the book. And you know what, now that I'm doing this video for you guys, I'm finally feeling inspired to write another book. And I think I'm just going to leave this book the way it is. I'm not going to try to do a younger children's version. I am going to work on another book that's going to be much different from this book. It is still going to be based on spirit dolls, but it's going to be different. So you're going to have to wait and see. I've had this idea brewing in my mind for a long time, and it just needs to be birthed now. Thought she was too big. But you know what? All in all, I am pretty proud of my book, even though I'm a little bit frustrated with a few things and how it turned out. Not everybody gets a chance to write a book. However, it does seem like everybody writes books these days, so that it's not an uncommon thing anymore. But it is not easy to write a book. There's a lot that goes into it, and it was a huge learning curve for me. And having somebody that supported me and put in all the money so that I didn't have to pay a cent out of my own pocket. And then I did get royalties from the book. Whenever she sold the book, I got paid a portion. Was it a lot of money? No, but it's enough. Like, it's enough. Mind you, I'm still a struggling artist because my family takes up a lot of my time. I'm not able to commit to art like I would like to at times, but I really love how I did the shading on this face, but I don't like the eyes. But I love how it kind of turned out. So yeah, I think I'm going to start my new book. Now that I've shared these, I've been waiting forever to do this video. I don't know what took me so long, but I love these hills in the background. I love how this background turned out. Not in love with the spirit doll, but I love the background. And we're coming to the end here of the last of the illustrations. And there we go. And that is all the illustrations that I did to get to this point where I created this book. And if I have to pick my favorite illustrations in here, it's definitely this one. This is probably my absolutely favorite illustration of two-legged. I love this one here of the little spirit doll. Her face just looks so sweet. And I love Grandmother Moon. I think she turned out great. What else? I can hear my son stirring in the other room, so I'm going to wrap up this video here soon. I love little deer here. I think she turned out super cute. Let's see what else. I love this one as well. And I do like, where is it? This one here, the end page. And notice how her face matures through the book too. So that's intentional as well. So anyways, that is it. And one of the reasons I chose the color blue is because it's my favorite color, number one. It's kind of more of a bluish purple, but it is blue when you look at the original illustrations, but it kind of looks more purple on here. That was intentional because that's my favorite color. So that is it. Thank you for watching. And please, if you'd like to order this, go to coloringitforward.com, or you can connect with my sister, Métis Girl at 2021 on Instagram. She has some copies of my book. I don't have any more copies left. So, or you can order it on Amazon. I think you can get it as a ebook as well. But yeah, please support local, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.